So, without further ado, the man of the hour, the one who brought us all here, the raison d'etre, Monsieur Quentin Tarantino! Give him a warm, awesome welcome!
Thank you, Mr. Rowe. Okay, so let's start the question and answer session. I went out to dinner with Luc Besson. Name dropping right now. I went out to dinner with my friend, Luc Besson, my ami. And so Luc goes, so what are you going to do next? What's your next project? I told him the whole story about Inglourious Bastards and his miniseries and the whole auteur thing. Had never been done before. How excited I was, you know. And his partner was like, oh, that's a great idea, Luc. Yeah, no one's ever done that. It'd be great. And Luc goes, yeah, I don't know. And I go, why? What? He goes, I don't know. I just, I mean, it's probably a good idea, but you're one of the few filmmakers makes me want to go to the cinema and see a film. And to say I get to wait 5 years, I can't help but to be disappointed. You know, every once in a while you hear shit, and once you hear it, you can't unhear it. And that was the case. So just as I was getting ready to start my 12-hour miniseries on page 1, like, no, let me take one more crack at trying to make this a movie. And here we go. It was a very difficult casting process because we had American casting directors, we had a German casting director, and we had a French casting director. And usually casting's a little easier because in dealing with mostly an American cast, I have a pretty good idea of a lot of actors, and I have lists that are further than most casting directors, but that was not the case with all these German actors, all these French actors. Plus, I had to go to all these different countries all the time. So you're trying to get into pre-production and get into the flow of it in Germany, and I kept being yanked away for Paris for casting for like 4 days, and it took me like a day or so to get back into the rhythm. So it was very difficult, but it all worked out fantastic. But that was the case. If you had asked me, 3 years ago, would you ever like to work with Brad Pitt? I would have said, hell yeah, but it just doesn't work like that. It works like I write characters, and then, and that's what I do. I'm a writer. I write characters, and now I'm precious about those characters. So then I want the perfect actor to play that character. Because when it's perfect casting, then, look, most of the job is done, and if it's not perfect casting, then it literally is this massive struggle simply to articulate content half the time. And also, I know what's on the page, and I know it's not being realized, and there was a horrible compromise made somewhere. And to me, Brad, when it comes to Aldo, just like Christoph when it comes to Londa, I mean, and Eli when it comes to the Bear Jew, they just played it to a fare thee well, and I couldn't be happier.
One thing that's so great about Quentin is that, I mean, he creates the character. Everything is on the page. Everything that you see there is all coming from Quentin's brain. But what he's so wonderfully encouraging about is when you're kind of off camera and before the scenes, and you're in character coming up with stuff, he loves it. And he totally, right from day one, Brad came in with just a smile on his face going like, we're going to have a great time, boys. And he was in it. From rehearsal and off camera, he's totally there. But Quentin, we would all hang out in character. And I was Donnie, and he was Aldo, and Quentin was Quentin. And Quentin would say, like, this is so fucking great, because I've had these guys in my head for 10 years, and now we're having beers. And there were days that we were shooting that we did not want to get out of character, where we would, like, and we didn't. And we stayed in character. And, like, the production assistant would bring us, that was very sweet, would bring us coffee. Carla, I'd be like, Carla! He's like, Carla! I'm like, nah, dude, it's Carla! I'm stabbing, dude! Like, Carla, where's my damn coffee? Like, we couldn't stop, and we could be as disgusting and inappropriate as we wanted because we were in character. But that's the kind of wonderful,
Disgusting and pretty damn inappropriate.
but that's the wonderful, safe environment Quentin creates for all the actors.
Thing is, when it comes to writing, you write female characters, you write older characters, you write characters that are like you, characters that aren't like you. Now, actually, they're all you. They're all coming out of you some way, and you're kind of evenly divided amongst all the people, at least to one degree or another. And, the truth of the matter is, as far as I'm concerned, I've never wrote a villain in my life. I understand where everybody in my movies come from. everyone has their reasons. Everybody has their reason for being. No one is just this villain like there is in a movie. So I understand everybody's point of view in my piece. You know, whether I might not tell you guys this. There's tons of things I don't share with the audience because it's not important to share it with the audience. But I know, and I'm the resource for the actors to know. You know, they'll know stuff that's not important for the audience, for the story to be told, but they need to know this is where they came from. This is what's going on. As you make more movies and more movies, things get more comfortable. They don't get less comfortable because you can kind of do shit your way. And but there can be problems with that. You know, fat can marble in the thing. And so the thing about this was it was a situation where it's like, you know, if, you know, we worked hard on the schedule, but if we had 3 days to do a scene, there was no mañana. We were going to do it in 3 days. And if that meant we had to go late on that third day, we did. And if you do something like that, that was, you know, that's really good and there's energy to it. But, you know, there's no really accomplishment for me to feel because the very next day I was right at it again with something else that had to be done in 2 days or 1 day or a week or whatever. And, you know, they're always just a little slightly less than, you know, what you'd want. And as far as the time constraints. But the hope was you do all that and then that energy and that, because there is no mañana. It is about now, and it's about this. And we're not fucking around. And I don't have time to shoot shit I ain't going to use, you know, and all that stuff. So it was like, hopefully that ends up on screen. So that was the idea. And I think that worked out. I decided pretty early on that I was going to be correct with the languages because just anything else seemed bullshit. And it was contrivance that I never really cared for in movies. I really feel that I'm really laying it down here that if you're going to do another World War II movie, you just don't even have the option to do the bullshit German is English thing anymore. You know, if Spielberg was going to do shit, if he had never made Schindler's List, and he was going to make it 2 years from now, this movie would force him to do it in German, or else it would seem quaint. And you don't want Schindler's List to seem quaint. I had a really fantastic French translator. He's the guy who actually translates all of Woody Allen's texts, published text into French. And actually, the German translator was the director Tom Tickler from Run Lola Run. I called him up to just ask his advice about could he recommend somebody. He goes, oh, yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Let me get back to you. And I called him up because, you know, I'm just going to fucking do it myself. I mean, I'm the only one I trust, you know. And so I worked with both of them, you know, for a while. And we just really worked hard. And there's some jokes or some wordplay that happens or little poetic rhythm things that are gone. But we can also find other, you know, wordplay and different rhythm things in French and German. So it's like, you know, so it was a process. Christoph did further translating the German into Austrian German, which is a much more old world German. And actually, Christoph found that, in particular, the Austrian German, you could actually say almost literally what I was saying in English. So it all worked out really, really good. I just dive into my record collection. I've never worked with I worked with Robert a little bit on Kill Bill, and I worked with RZA a little bit on Kill Bill, but that was very easy peasy the way that worked out. But my normal thing is I'd rather work with a music editor than a music composer, and so I just dive into my record collection. Look, I promised I would do sequels to everything I've ever done, and I've never done it, so I'm a very unreliable narrator. But I might do something like this on this because I have some stuff written already. For that story that I was going to do a while ago, well, now it's smaller because I did some of it. So conceivably, that could be done. You know, it all just depends. A lot of the actors would like to do it, so it all just depends on if the movie's popular enough. What gets me to sit down and write something is very, very thin. It literally is something to the effect of, I want to do a bunch of guys on a mission movie. All right, so that's what gets me to sit down. Then I start writing, and then it's just off to the races. All right, I come up with the characters, and the story starts telling itself. And, you know, I don't want it to just be a bunch of guys on a mission movie. I'm expecting to expand it as it goes on. And so it becomes what it became. I mean, when I sat down to write Reservoir Dogs, I sat down to write a heist film. Well, I did, but, you know, it's different than a lot of heist films. I.e., you don't see the heist, all right? But it's still a heist film. But that's what I sit down to do. And then from there, I hope it goes spiraling haywire. Yeah.